So good morning, everyone. So my name is Dr. Chudley Wirch. I'm president and founder at Prevention Plus Wellness, LLC, located here in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. So today's session will last about 60 minutes. I'm happy to stay as long as you want for Q&A afterwards. So I'll try to plug in all this information on our slides within 50 minutes. Maybe a little bit hard to do, but I'll try to do that. And as I said, I'm recording this. So everyone who's registered for today's session, I will send them a link to this recorded session, which you're welcome to share with others, a PDF of the PowerPoint slide presentation, which again, you can also share. And I encourage you to share widely with others in your region and state. I will send everyone also a certificate for 1 hour CEU for today's session. So all you have to do is type in your name and print out a copy for your records. So if you do not receive anything from me by the end of the day, there's a good chance that it's been sent to your spam folder because of the attachment of the certificate. So do check your spam folder. So that's what we have in store today. We've got some slides. We've got a poll that will go through a short video clip. So that's all in store for today. The topic, of course, is Prevention Plus Wellness Program Online Strategies Training. So let me just go over the session objectives for you today. We have 4 of them. First of all, you'll be able to describe step-by-step methods for providing Prevention Plus Wellness programs live online to youth, either individually or in a group. Secondly, you'll be able to identify the step-by-step methods for providing Prevention Plus Wellness programs via recorded video as an option. Thirdly, we're going to explore tools for monitoring and evaluating online Prevention Plus Wellness programs in terms of their quality and effectiveness. That's the advantage I see as going online with presentation. You have these tools that you can have youth complete, and so that you as a professional or your organization can monitor quality of program implementation and effectiveness. And then lastly, identify program online follow-up strategies, training, and resources that we can provide for you. So anything we can do to help you offer your Prevention Plus Wellness programs during the coronavirus pandemic, we're happy to do it. We feel that young people need to continue to get these essential evidence-based and evidence-informed prevention programs. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that. I had to open the door because Winnie was scratching. She's very demanding. So anyway, as I was saying, you know, there's some resources that I'll be showing you, and whatever we can do to help you provide your Prevention Plus Wellness programs to youth, you know, distance learning wise, we're happy to do that so that everybody, especially youth and their families, get these essential prevention messages during this very extraordinary time in everyone's life. So don't forget, we're always here to help you, and God bless you for what you do for youth, for young adults, for families in your communities. And it's a great privilege and honor for me to help in any way that I can. So that's what we've got going on. Before we jump into the content, let me just pull up a really quick poll for everyone. I think it'll be very interesting. I'm going to launch this poll. It's just 4 or 5 quick questions. It takes just a moment to launch, and once you see it, please go ahead and take a couple minutes and fill this out. I think this will be very interesting to see a little bit about what your interests are, needs are in the online prevention program arena. So the first question is, well, let me see here. Maybe I need to close out. I don't see anybody answering it right now. Let me see, I may need to close out of, oh, there you go. There are. You are filling it out. All right. It does, like I said, it does take a while to load. So the first question is, where do you live? The second question is, are you currently providing prevention programs online? The third question, are you planning or preparing to provide prevention programs online? Question 4, what online strategies are you using or planning on using? And then the last, what prevention plus wellness programs are you thinking or might consider providing online? So obviously the focus is prevention plus wellness. That's what we do. That's what we provide. We are biased in that we believe our programs, which are brief, in fact, a single session, and integrate wellness, are unique and necessary programs above other prevention or in addition to other prevention strategies. So our programs are evidence-based and evidence-informed. Because they're single session, you should be able to reach all youth in your community and in your region. So just think of it in this terms. You can really have a public health impact if you can reach all young people, which is very difficult, if not impossible, to do with typical multi-session evidence-based and even non-evidence-based programs. So you got the single session, sport for youth, In Shape for young adults. Those are evidence-based programs, and our evidence-informed programs or adaptations of those: vaping prevention plus wellness, marijuana prevention plus wellness, opioid prevention plus wellness, In God's Image, our faith-based program, Sport 2, PPW. All those programs, with the exception of Sport 2, are single session programs. And the fact that they integrate the promotion of wellness habits are essential to addressing chronic disease risks that young people have: lack of physical activity, not eating breakfast, not eating healthy nutrition, not getting adequate sleep, not controlling stress, all combines and interacts with their substance use habits. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to end the polling. And let's see, I'm going to share the results with everyone. All of this, by the way, is being presented to you on the Zoom platform. You may be using Zoom to provide your prevention programs, but it doesn't matter what platform. You just need to become familiar with what you can do with it. And you may have some questions about that we can address at the end of today's session. But whatever platform you're talking about providing your prevention plus wellness programs, or whatever prevention programs and strategies online, so you need to become familiar with that platform. It could be Zoom, GoToMeeting, Google Classrooms, what have you. My wife is a special ed teacher in the Jacksonville, Florida area. She is the Duval County teachers are using a free Microsoft platform, which, by the way, they're not all that happy with because there are some real limitations to it, but it is no cost to them. So question is, where do you live? It looks like, half of you are from the Northeast, which makes sense. But we've got people spread out all the way from the Southwest, Midwest. Nobody's from the South today, interestingly. We got Northwest, Southwest, and then we even have some people outside the contiguous United States. So welcome to all of you. Question 2, are you currently providing prevention programs online? It looks like most are not, 60%. So 6 out of 10 are not, 4 out of 10 are. So I think that will probably flip over the next coming weeks and months, and maybe even into next year, as we continue to, to address and to deal with the virus and see what lies ahead for all of us. We're all in this together. Any way we can help each other, support each other, I think we all need to be doing that. Number 3, are you planning and preparing or preparing to provide prevention programs online? 90% said yes. 10% said no, I'm not. I would be interested to know why you're on this session if you're not planning. So maybe your support staff or something like that. Question 4, what online strategies are you using or planning to use? So it looks like 78% said recorded video. Okay, so which we do provide, but also a large chunky over half, 55% said live online, but also almost 30%, 28% said others. If you said others in terms of other online strategies, I'd love to know what you're doing, when we open it up for the Q&A. And in fact, if you have, I don't know if you have access to the chat option in the bottom of your screen right now, love you to type in what other online strategies you're planning on using. I think it'd be very instructive, and we could all look at that and discuss that a little bit at the end of today's session. Number 5, what PPW or prevention plus wellness programs are you thinking of or might consider providing online? And it looks like 65% said sport. We have high school, middle school, elementary school versions of sport. The next largest, I think, would be 50% said marijuana PPW, 48% said vaping PPW. And there's some planning on doing in shape, opioid, sport 2, and even in God's image, all online. All right, very good. I'm going to stop sharing that. Thank you very much. It was very interesting and enlightening. And let's go ahead and continue on with the slides for today's session. I'm just going to see if I could expand these slides. There's actually a drop-down window, and it's for some reason it's not. It's overlaid on my screen, and it's not allowing me to get to the top of my page to expand my slides. So in the interim, I'll just go ahead and launch nonetheless. So you can see the slides. By the way, again, if you're presenting any of our programs, prevention plus wellness programs, or any prevention program, you want to have a platform where you'll be able to show your content. So, you know, all of our programs have slides, so you'll be able to pull up your slide. I'll show you some examples of this today. You'll pull up your slides. You want to be able to show your slides, show your content, so that your youth or young adults on their end can see what you're talking about. So you'll be able to show your slide, and then you'll be able to read your script from your program manual that you have with all of our prevention plus wellness programs. And you can do that with youth individually, one-on-one, or it's probably more likely, more practical that most of you will be providing prevention plus wellness programs online to more than one youth, to your classroom or groups of youth. So you can do either of those, but you need to have the function of showing your slides. Then, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, at least in my image, I could see myself, you could see me. And then depending on the platform and what you allow, if you have one youth or a handful of youth, you could be in a meeting format, at least that's what it's called in Zoom, and so you could all see each other. That of course depends on whether your youth have a video option, if they have a camera on their device, if they have a microphone, then you'll be able to hear them. And if not, then you're going to have to really rely on them typing into some kind of an option like the chat option that we have in Zoom. So that's your communication. You're going to be able to, you want them to hear you, you want them to see some content, you may even want them to see you. And then other than that, you certainly want to be able to hear back from them at least by typed chat. If not, audio would be even better. And to see them would be ideal, but that all depends on what your platform allows and how large your group is. All right, so there's certain key advantages to implementing prevention plus wellness programs, whether that be face-to-face, either one-on-one or in a group, or online. The main advantage, I think, or one of the key advantages, single session program. So much easier to do person to person or face-to-face, I should say, or online than, you know, say a 8 or 6 or 12 or 15 session program. So very, very brief, very powerful, and we have both evidence-based and evidence-informed programs. Scripted, so it does not take a lot of time and practice. That scripts, the protocols are in your manual. So that reduces the training time for you to be prepared to provide your program. In fact, our trainings are just 2 hours live. Individual and one-on-one or group protocols, so you have that flexibility, again, to provide any of our prevention plus wellness programs, or most of them, to youth individually. That means they're most tailored because you're going to provide feedback directly to that youth about how they responded on their screening survey, their health survey questions, or in a group setting. So you have that flexibility to do that either face-to-face or online. I mentioned already 2-hour live program implementer training, and online we have optional pre-post test evaluation surveys as well as hard copies. And we also now have an online goal plan. That's part of the intervention, and I think is an advantage to our programs over other programs. Now, if I were to, and I did, rank the preferences of prevention plus wellness program implementation, this is how it would look like. Our programs were originally designed to be provided face-to-face, and so you have the option of doing that either one-on-one with the youth or individually. I think that's the most powerful strategy. And there's also an optional script or protocol to provide your program face-to-face to youth in a group setting. If you cannot do that, and most of us are not able to do that now, then your option 2 would be live online. So this is a live interactive process. So again, depending on your platform, I'm talking about your technology platform, whether it's Zoom or Google Classroom or whatever they allow within that platform, and whatever you have turned on, so to speak, will determine to what extent it's interactive, whether you can see your youth, whether they can speak and you can hear them, but it has at least a potential for being just like face-to-face. So that's the beauty of the online. The downside I would say is, of course, you have to become familiar with the platform, as my wife has been doing, and all of our teachers here, and teachers and prevention and health specialists throughout the world, throughout the country and the world, learning this new technology, becoming familiar with it, becoming comfortable with it. That's why I would say start slow. You know, implement something with one youth or one colleague, get a little feel for it, get comfortable with it, and before you go launching it to, you know, providing your prevention plus wellness program or other prevention programs to groups of 30 and 50 and what have you. So start slow, get comfortable, you know, get some practice in, get some feedback before you launch. And I do know everybody's on a tight timeline to provide their prevention, perhaps before the end of the year is out, or school year. So live online could be, at least theoretically, just as good as face-to-face. And the fact that we can't do face-to-face, it's a real technological blessing, I think. Then the next in line, this is my opinion, is recorded video. This allows visual and auditory learning. So, and it has the advantage of being very efficient. All you have to do is send the link of your recorded video to your youth, they view it, and it's over. So it's less effort, less time spent once you have your video. The downside is that you're not there to view or watch you watching your student watching the video. So you don't know if they're multitasking, you don't know if they're really watching the entire video, if they're listening. But you can address some of that, at least we have, with our videos that we provide of our programs, our recorded videos of our programs, by including things like a link, an online link to a goal plan. So they'd have some difficulty completing that goal plan if they didn't first go through the video. So, and there's also pre-post testing online. So you do have some tools there, some online tools that allow you to monitor quality and fidelity. And then lastly, there's some other distance learning strategies, correspondence, email, telephone. Some of these you may be planning on doing. The preferred one-on-one face-to-face protocol for implementing prevention plus wellness programs are 4 steps. Step 1, you show your first introductory program slide, a PowerPoint slide, and you provide the script introduction. You just follow the script, read it. And by the way, you learn all of this when you get the 2-hour live training for our programs. And so many of you that are on today, implementing our programs, you know what I'm talking about. Step number 2, you implement the screening survey to one youth or one young adult. So this is just one person you're implementing it to. The screening survey is the first step of a 3-step prevention plus wellness program strategy. Step 1 is you screen youth or young adults for their current health habits. That's not just their substance use, but physical activity, sports, nutrition, sleep, even stress control. This gets them, increases awareness of where they're at with their health habits. Step 2, you provide feedback regarding those behaviors and also positive image communication designed to trigger positive images of young people in the future engage in those wellness promoting behaviors. And that increases motivation for them to change. And then step number 3, you capitalize on that motivation by walking youth through a goal plan contract to identify and to commit to avoiding substance use and to increasing one or more protective wellness habits. So 3 steps: screening, feedback, goal setting. And so that's it. So that's step 3. You can see, provide feedback, tailored to the screening responses while you show your program sides. And then step 4, goal planning. So that's it one-to-one. And then when you provide it in a group setting, again, this is face-to-face, same thing. It's just that you're now providing the tailored responses to each youth, because you're really providing it to an entire group of youth. So that's face-to-face. Now, how does that compare to if we were to implement this one-on-one in an online format? So I am imagining that most of you will not use the one-on-one implementation online. So I will show you immediately after this how to implement prevention plus wellness programs online in a group. But let's start with the one-on-one. That would be preferred because you get to allow tailored feedback to that one youth. And then we'll look at the online protocol for a group of youth. So, and there's more similarities than differences. First step, you have to identify what your video conferencing service is: Zoom, GoToMeeting, Google Classroom, Microsoft, whatever. Become familiar with it, practice it, and get some training ready to go. Number 2, so by the way, I would say it's a combination of things. You got the video platform that you need to become familiar with, and then you've got the prevention plus wellness program content and script. So those are the 2 things that normally we only need to worry about the program, but now you've got 2 things. You've got the platform and you got the program that you need to be conversant and trained in. Secondly, step number 2, and again, this is online, live. You're presenting this to one youth at a time. Step number 2 is that you're going to send the youth or young adult a link to the session date and time. And if you want, we do have pre-post tests. So you can literally send your participating youth a link to a pretest. They could log on, complete the pretest, and then you can give them a post test after your session. So you can collect pre-post test data. And for your organization, by the way, these are SurveyMonkey tools. So I could send your organization, if you request it, a customized link for your organization, so that that at the end of the implementation, you'd have your pre-post test data for as many youth that completed it for your organization. So it would be just for your use. So happy to do that. All you have to do is email me and request that you want a customized link for your organization for a pre-post test. So that's step number 2. You're going to ask your youth or send your youth a session date. Let's say it's tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon. And then you're sending that today, and you're saying, hop online. Here's a link to a pretest. Fill this out today. before we meet for tomorrow's session. Number 3, you're going to want to try, because you're implementing this now with one youth, they're in their home setting, I'm assuming for the most part, most likely, and you're going to want them to be in a private setting as possible. So you could say, you know, there's no noise and background activity, and can they get into a space where it's quiet and nobody's listening in? Having said that, you've really got to assume that they're not private. So remember, you're talking to them one-on-one, keep that in mind. So you do want to protect their confidentiality of that discussion, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. Number 4, you're going to show the first program slide and provide the introduction to the program. So just like I'm doing, showing this slide, you're going to show your first introductory slide. Let's say it's sport prevention plus wellness for high school. You'll show that slide. You'll read the introduction from your manual, your script, and that's step number 4. Then step number 5 is you're going to walk youth through their screening survey. That's their, you know, that, as I said, step, you know, the first component of your prevention plus wellness program, your screening survey. And so you're going to show those on the slide, and you're going to ask youth to answer the screening survey items on a sheet of paper at their house. So you may want to preface this whole thing by saying you need to have in advance a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. So you're going to walk through the screening survey and read each item. They could see it, and then they're going to write their answer on a separate sheet of paper. And you're gonna and then it says there, ask each question again from the slides to provide feedback tailored to each youth's response. I'll show you an example of this when I'm talking about, and I'll also give you an example of when you have the youth respond to the substance use item or items, you want them to be careful, because just in case somebody's listening in. So you don't want to say, you know, how many alcoholic drinks did you have in the last year? And then they're going to say, oh, I've had 5 or more, when in fact they might have some other people in their house listening in. You have to be very careful to protect their that confidentiality. So I'll show you how to do that. So that's the first 5 steps. Step 6, this is an option. So if your video conferencing platform has an option for polling like Zoom does, it's possible that you could put your screening survey on a poll and then have your youth complete it, and then you'd have it as a record, and then you could just, the thing is, you'd have to be able to toggle between the responses on the poll and then feedback to the youth. So that may be more effort than what it's worth, but it is an option. I'm just throwing that out there. It's something you can explore and play with. If your video conferencing has polling or questioning as surveys as an option. Step number 7 is when asking youth a discussion question, you're going to want them to respond verbally or by live chat. So hopefully, remember, you're presenting this with one youth. You want to have that dialogue. Hopefully, if they have a camera, you can see them, and they could see you because you have a camera. And hopefully, they have a microphone so that you can hear them. If not, it's not ideal, but they can answer by typing in live chat. Question number 8, read and show the online goal plan or contract. Or you have the option of doing the original hard copy version of your goal plan that comes with your Prevention Plus Wellness program. Again, what you want to do is you want to walk them through the goal plan and have them write down their answers to the goal plan on a sheet of paper. So they're completing everything as you go along on a separate sheet of paper. And then number 9, if you're using the link to the goal plan, you could then send them the link to the goal plan. They could click on it and literally go to the goal plan and complete it online. So they completed it with you step by step on a blank sheet of paper, and now they could just go to click on the link and fill it in online. And then print out a copy if they have that as an option. But nonetheless, the beauty of that is that you can retain that record for your group of youth. So if you had 200 youth complete goal plans, we can have that customized link to a goal plan just for your organization. And then you'll have a record, be able to see what kind of goals your youth set. And also there's some questions in the goal plan about what they liked and didn't like about the program. So you get some feedback assessing the program. And then, so that's step 10. And step 11, if you want to do, I'm sorry, step 10 is a post-test if you want to do post-test. And step 11, we also have an instructor's process evaluation tool, and that is online as well. So you could have your instructors go online and complete that if you want to. So you have a pre-post test, and you have the goal plan online if you want to use that. You don't have to, but it's an option. So that's how you present your Prevention Plus Wellness program online, one-on-one. I suspect, as I said earlier, most of you will be presenting it online to more than one youth. In other words, it'll be a handful of youth, or it'll be a regular classroom of 30. So here are the steps, a little bit different, but more similar than different. Again, number one, you identify, become familiar with your video conferencing service. Step number two, you're going to send your participants a link to the session and date, and if you want, the optional pre-test. So let's say you're going to have a lesson tomorrow. You're going to implement Sport Prevention Plus Wellness for high school youth tomorrow with 30 kids. Today you could send them, you set up the session, send them the link to the date and time and what to click on so that they can enter, and then send them a link to the pretest so that they can take the pretest today before tomorrow's session. That's how you could set it up, for example. Step number three, you're going to show your once the program begins, you're going to show your first Prevention Plus Wellness program PowerPoint slide. You're going to read the introduction. Step number four, you're going to go you're going to walk them through the screening survey, and then again, everyone is going to complete the screening survey on their own, at their own house, writing on a blank sheet of paper. You're going to go through the questions, and they're going to answer to themselves on a sheet of paper. So they do need a sheet of paper and a pen or pencil. And that's number 4. And again, you'll be asking them, repeating these screening survey questions again to the group, but you're going to want them to answer to themselves. And again, I'll show you why that is. Number 5, there's that polling option if you wanted to use a poll to have everybody complete the screening survey by poll. But if you do, like we did today, at the beginning of this session, if you do have your youth complete the screening survey by poll, you do not want to show your youth the results. And I say that because remember, you're asking them questions like, do they usually get 8 or more hours of sleep? Chances are most youth are not getting 8 or more hours of sleep. So you don't want to show your group the fact that only 30% are getting 8 or more hours of sleep, because that would reinforce a negative normative message. So the point here is, if you do have polling, you don't want to share your polling results with your youth that you're presenting this to. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to me, and I could help you. But again, I think it shows you why you do need to get on this on your platform and practice this a little bit. Number 6, when asking you to discuss a question, you can have them respond. Let's say if there's a group of 4 or 5 or 6, you could actually have them respond verbally if they have a microphone and that's turned on. If not, they could respond by chat. In other words, you could ask them a question, a discussion question, and they could type in their answers by chat, and then everybody could see those responses. Step number 7, you're going to read and show the online goal plan again. Have them all complete their own goal plan as you go through it, as you walk them through it. You can use the online goal plan, or you can use the hard copy. If you want to use the online goal plan, our new slides actually have the online goal plan questions built into the PowerPoint slides. If you want to use the original goal plan that comes with your program manual, it's a little bit different. then you just simply pull up a copy of it so that they can see it on the screen, and you walk them through the items and they all answer on a separate sheet of paper. Then if you want, under step number 8, you can send them a customized link and they can complete the goal plan on their own. Or if you want to use the hard copy, you could email them a hard copy of the goal plan. And if they had the option, if they have this ability to print it out, they could print it out and complete it. So that's a question mark there, because they may not have that ability. So that's why we developed the online goal setting. Makes everything much more easier and quicker. Number 9, you can send the optional post-test. If you're doing a pre-test, do the post-test, send the link, everybody completes the post-test, and then all of your presenters can also go online and complete an instructor survey if you want to collect process data. Now, let me just show you how this works, or how this looks. So let's say that you're presenting this program, Sport Prevention Plus Wellness for High School Youth. This is the first slide, so this is what you'd show. If you have your program manuals with you, you'd read the introduction. So this is how you're presenting it to your youth. Your youth are able to see the slide. They may or may not be able to see you, but they certainly could hear you. And so you're going to walk them through the program. They need to see the slides while you speak to them. So the first thing that comes up after the introductory slide is you're going to walk them through the health and fitness screen. And so the new slides to all of our programs have the screening questions on the PowerPoint slide, so you could walk them through it. So let's say you're implementing this online, either to one youth or to a group of youth. You could simply read the question and, again, remind all of your youth to answer the question on a separate sheet of paper. They need a moment to get the paper. You could stop. You could say, make sure everybody's got a paper. I'm going to wait a second. Get your paper, get your pen or pencil. So first question is, what sports and physical activities did you play last year? And then you can go down the list. So if you play baseball or softball, write it on your sheet of paper. Did you play basketball, riding a bike? So you can go down the list, and that continues on to the next slide. And then the next question is about, again, this is sport for high school. Next question is about a regular physical activity, and they could write number 2 in their answer, yes or no. And then number 3, they could write yes or no. And number 4, they could write yes or no. These are all questions about other things, or healthy breakfast. Are they getting 8 or more hours of sleep? Now, question 6 is the substance use item. And it is, in the past 30 days, what's the greatest number of alcoholic drinks you've had at any one time? If you're implementing this to one youth, again, be careful. I'd have them answer A, B, C, D, E, or F, so they're not writing down or responding the exact number of drinks. That gives them a little protection in case somebody's listening on. And regardless, if you're implementing this to one youth or 5 youth or 30 youth, again, you should be having them answer these survey items on a sheet of paper as you walk through them. Then the new slides will repeat the survey questions. So this was the first screening survey question: what sports or physical activities did you play in the last year? So if you're providing this to one youth, they could tell you at that time. And then if they did get physical activity, you could read that response. If they didn't, you could read the other response. This is the tailoring option you have if you present this to one youth online, just as you would if you presented it to one youth face-to-face. If you're presenting this to a group of youth, what sports and physical activities did you play in the last year? Just say, answer that to yourself. If you wanted feedback, you could say, let me hear some examples, and they could respond verbally if you have that option, or they could respond in chat. And that way, because you do want to have as much interaction as possible. So that's the challenge with this online. We want to have a little bit more interaction. We want to make sure that they're engaged with us. And then you're going to provide your content depending on what script you're reading. whether it's tailored to individual youth or whether it's the group script. You're going to provide your slides in your program, and then you're on to the next item. This is a review. Again, this is just a repeat of the second question about regular physical activity. If you're presenting this one-on-one, you're going to want the youth to respond so that you know which protocol to read. If you present this to a group, you want them to respond to themselves, because you don't want to see that the majority of youth are not getting regular physical activity. You want to be careful that you're not communicating an unhealthy norm that youth, that most of my peers are not getting regular physical activity, they're not sleeping, they're not eating breakfast, and so on. So just keep that in mind. So you present your content. Now we have these discussion questions we've built in, especially for use, I think, in group settings and online. So at this point, the discussion question is, what types of sports or other physical activities would you like to do or try to do? Do more or do more of? And so at this point, you can get some feedback. Again, if it's one person or a small group and you have the audio on, and that audio is an option, you could hear your youth respond. If not, they could respond by chat, or maybe a combination of the two, depending on the technology that they might have at home. Maybe one youth has built-in a microphone and the other doesn't. So again, this all goes back to you getting comfortable with this, with the platform. Again, just giving you my experience from watching my wife, who's not familiar with this. This was a bit frustrating for her at first. She was a little negative about it. I don't think she'd mind me saying this, but she's just yesterday, she says it was great because she's realized how important it is and how able she is to stay in communication with her high needs children, and just having that contact and the fact that she's able to do that and they're able to see her and so on really is a good thing. And so the technology is a lifesaver in our present situation with the COVID-19. Slides, and then there's some recommendations for increasing wellness. And then we have now with the new slides, and by the way, if you have our Prevention Plus Wellness program, whatever program you have, and you're implementing it, if you want these new revised digital downloads, which include the slides and the protocols for implementing it online, just let us know. We'll send it to you for free because you already have the program. So, but now these new slides actually have an opportunity for you to show the online goal plan. Now, if you don't want to use the online goal plan and you want to use the goal plan that's in the program manual and in your digital download, at this point, you can just stop the slides and pull up a copy of the hard copy of the goal plan. And so you can do that just by clicking on your PDF and showing the PDF and walking through the goal plan with them that way. But the advantage is that of the online goal plan is that you can send them a link after this. They could fill it out, and that gives them a chance to actually fill it out twice, once on a sheet of paper, and then the second time, in a nice format, on a Survey Monkey, and then you have that data to monitor program effectiveness. So here's the goal plan. So this is how you would follow this script. And again, we can send you a customized link, so you can just keep just your youth's data separate from everybody else who's using Prevention Plus Wellness programs, so we have this generic link, which is to the left, where it says online goal plan contract. There's a generic link. You can click on that, and I'll send you a PDF, and you could look at it if you want, and you could see the goal plan contract. But that's the generic link to it. But we could customize that to your organization, so you could just have your own link for your organization. So you could just go down the measures that are included, or the items that are included in your online goal plan, there's some demographics like, you know, ethnicity, age, gender, you know, so on. Then number two, what substances did they choose to avoid? So they get to choose. They want to avoid alcohol, tobacco, e-cigarettes, marijuana, so on. There's a whole list of them, and they could identify as many as they want. So there's a little customization that's allowed for them. Number three, they could identify a measurable healthy habit to improve. Number four, they identify who's going to co-sign this, so they make it a contract that increases motivation. There's some examples and some samples of people who could co-sign it, a mother, father, a grandparent, and so forth. And then number five, they identify where they're going to post their goals. And then number six, this is a beautiful thing here because we're including feedback, what they like best and what they like least about the lesson. So you're going to get that feedback on the lesson. So that is critical feedback for marketing your program and also improving your program. And then they're going to be able to rate the goal as well. How did they like this goal setting process? There's also optional online pre-post survey. As I said, we could send you a customized link just for your organization. So what you have here is you have measures of two key indicators, predictors of substance use and healthy behaviors. One, behavioral intentions. That's the most highly correlated and predictive measure of future behaviors. And then secondly, perceived harmfulness, which is so widely used as an indicator of risk for youth. This pre-post survey measures 5 substance use behaviors and 4 wellness behaviors. And there's a link right there again in the bottom right-hand corner if you want to take a look at the SurveyMonkey pre-post test. And we could customize the link for your organization so you can have your own pre-post survey data. And then we also can do the same with this online instructor survey. The instructor survey is meant to have instructors self-assess their the quality of their program. I think this is particularly important now because they're providing it online and there's some issues with comfort and so you can see there's 7 measures here, self-assessment. So your instructors are going to assess their level of comfort, active presenting, their level of enthusiasm, the lesson flow, accuracy of following the script, whether the content was completed, and their use responsiveness. So really good assessment tool, and that can be done online as well. Now, all of that is about presenting your Prevention Plus Wellness program live online. Again, you have the option to do this to individual youth online or to groups of youth. If you have a program or if you buy a program, you will now get the digital download to the revised slides and the protocols to do this online. If you already have our programs and you're using them, you could email me at info@preventionpluswellness.com and ask and say that, hey, we're implementing whatever and we'd like the new digital downloads. As long as you've purchased a program in the past, especially if you've had training, you know what you're doing, we'll send you the revised, updated digital downloads for free because we want to give you the resources to provide this online. At first we were charging for it, but we decided we just really need to, get this out as quickly as possible. So, but there's a second option. So, and this is taking us quite a bit of time to do this. What we're doing is we're producing videos of a presentation of programs. So I'm going to show you a link to a clip of me presenting the Sport Prevention Plus Wellness program for high school youth. And so the advantage of this is a very, very simple process. It's just look, it's really one step. Take a look at step number 2. If you go this route, all you have to do is send youth a link to the recorded video of the program and a customized link to the goal plan if you want them to fill that out online. If you want to do a pre-test, that's step number 1, and a post-test, step number 3. But really, it's very, very simple. So this process saves you a lot of time and energy, but again, it's not live. You're not presenting it. I am for you on your behalf. So it's sort of a trade-off. And then there is a cost to the videos. Right now, we're charging $5 a student. If you have a larger group, we could reduce that cost burden for you. We're happy to do that. So, but let me show you how this looks. There's the link. And by the way, you could just search for Sport PBW High School video clip, or you can go to YouTube and search and look at all of Prevention Plus Wellness videos. But let me see if I could pull this up and play this for us. It just is 2 minutes in length. Prevention Plus Wellness, an exciting new fitness and health program. Answer this first question. What sports or physical activities did you do or play in the last year? Write down all that apply to you. Sports, physical activities are fun. They help you look fit and strong, feel good about yourself, give you lots of energy, and they can help you do better in school. Various rewards come from participating in physical activities, such as increased feelings of success, reduced feelings of depression and anxiety. Breakfast is just one aspect of a healthy diet. It's also important to eat a variety of other healthy, nutritious foods every day, especially fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as limiting junk food. One of the most important things you can do to help improve your health and maintain an active life is to avoid alcohol. Too much alcohol can sap your energy needed to do well, not just in sports, but life in general. Answer this important question. What other types of problems people your age could have with drinking alcohol? There's a common myth that all athletes drink alcohol. This probably comes from the media, which often markets and advertises alcohol. I'm just going to stop at this point. I don't know if you could hear this. I'm hoping that you can. I'm assuming you can, but if you can't, you'll have the link and you can pull this up and listen to it yourself. I hope you could see these slides. I don't see why you shouldn't, because I'm sharing this with you. But then we may have a problem with audio showing a link to a video. So, but nonetheless, you're seeing that this is a couple of things. One, you're seeing that how the video is laid out. You know, there's nice transitions, background music, and so forth, and good pace. And so you could literally send this link to your youth, have them complete it, have them complete the goal online. So save you a lot of time and energy. But also, I think the link is just instructive because it just shows you how you would be presenting the lesson live if you do present it online. During sporting events. However, you can increase your skills to say no to alcohol by practicing, just like any sport or physical skill. What are some healthy alternatives people can use instead of drinking alcohol? The online goal contract includes 7 demographic items, and it also asks which of the following substances do you choose to avoid during the next 7 days in order to maintain an active and healthy lifestyle. Think about and identify where you'll post your goal plan contract so you can see it every day and be reminded to monitor your health habits. You've taken the first and most important step toward improving your wellness. Improving yourself is a lifelong process. It takes committing to small changes. Focus on and celebrate the small gains you make each day, week, and month. You can do it. Keep trying. Never quit. Sport Prevention Plus. Okay, so that's a video clip of the Sport Prevention Plus Wellness program for high school adolescents. So that gives you an idea what we offer in terms of recorded videos if you want to use those. Some organizations have said they're going to use a combination of, they're going to present the Prevention Plus Wellness program live, and then they're going to use some of our online videos. We also have a couple of ideas, some suggestions for follow-up strategies. Let's say you wanted to do more than just provide the initial single session Prevention Plus Wellness program. So there's some options here. You can see what they are. Number one, you can require your youth to complete additional weekly online goal plans. Number two, you can assign post-program online activities. And you could select those from our website. We have a Prevention Plus Wellness Youth and Teacher Resources website page under the More heading, M-O-R-E, on preventionpluswellness.com. During our regular online 2-hour program implementer trainings, we show you where all this is, but you could explore it yourself if you go to our website, preventionpluswellness.com. Step number 3, or sample number 3, or option number 3 is present weekly parent flyers live online to youth and/or parents. Of course, the flyers are part of the Sport Prevention Plus Wellness programs. And then number 4, implement additional live online content using Sport 2, which is our only multi-session program. It actually includes 6 sessions. So what are some training and other resources related to presenting your Prevention Plus Wellness programs online? Well, there's this training today. It's a 1-hour session approximately. We're happy to present it if you have a group of individuals in your organization, and if you want me to tailor it a little bit, we're providing this free right now if you're using our programs. Number 2, we do have the new digital downloads. These are free for those who already have our programs. If you order any of our programs, you'll get these updated digital downloads. Number 3, our videos of our programs are $5 per youth, or if you have a large group, we can be happy to reduce that price, give you a discount. Number 4, I think the backbone still to our programs is our 2-hour live online program implementer training. You purchase your program manual and download, and which is item number 5, $4.99, and then you order your $1.99 online training, and then you'll be able to implement your program not just face-to-face, but online as well. So there's 3 quick conclusions. Number 1, PPW programs can be provided online as well as by recorded as alternatives to face-to-face, which is what the original program was designed for. And because of the makeup of the programs, because they're brief, because they're scripted and so on, it's really an ideal evidence-based program to provide online. Secondly, PPW program resources include the online strategies training that we provided today, updated digital downloads, and recorded videos. And lastly, number 3, we can provide customized links to the goal plans and also pre-post testing if you want to use those, so that you could track the quality and the effectiveness of your online program, whatever it might be. So find out more on our website. If you have questions, you can give me a call. There's our number in Jacksonville, Florida, 904-472-5022. Email me at info@preventionpluswellness.com, or you just go to preventionpluswellness.com, and there's a link in the lower right-hand corner to communicate with me. So please do provide your email address on our website so that you stay up to date with all of our free webinars and resources and so on. And there's our new homepage. We're addressing head-on the COVID-19, because we believe that the mix of our programs and the protocols that you can continue to provide evidence-based and evidence-informed prevention, even in without a whole lot of disruption, even in these very, very extraordinarily unique and challenging times. So that's it. I'm going to stop at this point and say, if you have any questions and comments, it's a little bit under an hour. I'm happy to stay here. So find that live chat option there, click on it, type in any question you might have, any comment you might have. I'm going to just scroll down the live chat page, the chat page to the right, and see if anybody has written anything to begin with. So, and then we'll just see if anybody has anything. Okay, so I know Winnie is adorable. Thank you, Christine. All Stars Building Bright Futures must be a program somebody's providing online. Student assistance programs. Volume is low in the video. Yeah, that's what I thought. I apologize for that. So you may want to just click on that link on the PDF that I send you, or just just go ahead and Google, prevention plus wellness YouTube videos. You'll see it. So yeah, that's a bit of a challenge. So so that's something you'll need to test out with your videos too that you're using. I don't think it's a problem because what we're doing, normally if you click on a YouTube video or whatever recorded video, it'll come on fine. But this is a video within a live presentation, and that's where it gets a little funky for some reason. So I've just learned something. I need to turn that up. You may need to turn it up when we present it. If you do show a live video clip within a live online presentation. So I appreciate that feedback and apologize for that problem we had. So any questions about presenting either prevention plus wellness programs, live online, individually to groups, video, presenting prevention programs of any kind online? Any other questions or comments you might have about that? There were some of you saying that you're using other than live online and video. I think there was a good percentage of you. I'd love you to type in what other strategies you're using. Why don't you share those with us, and so that we could all learn from you. And that's all. And then, so let me just see if there's any new. Oh, some of you went to, okay. So I'm still looking at the live chat. Nobody's writing anything. I'm just going to give you a couple more minutes. We had a filled up session today. So that's good to know. I mean, there's a lot of interest in this. Remember, we're always available to give you a hand, even, well after, as long as you're providing our programs, anything we can do to help, reach out to us at info@preventionpluswellness.com, or just go to our website, preventionpluswellness.com, and let me know. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. So it doesn't look like there's any questions, but I'm just going to wait for just another couple of minutes. I just want to give everybody a chance. A couple of times I didn't think there were any questions, and then we ended the session, and then somebody said, we didn't have time for questions. So you just never know. So, and I think there may be a lag, or it does take some time. So you do want to go slow with this online thing. And again, as I said, start slow, practice, get the feedback from your youth, your young adult participants, and see what works best for you. But remember, what you're really trying to do is replicate and implement the scripted prevention plus wellness programs that come with all of our programs, and present them within one setting: screening, feedback, goal setting. You want to walk your youth through all of that, whether you provide it to one youth or to a group of youth. So you do want to do that in one setting. And then if you want, you could send them the link to the follow-up, goal setting, or the second goal setting. The first one they do on a sheet of paper, the second they can do, on SurveyMonkey. The pre-post testing, the instructor survey, all of those are optional. And I think there's some real benefits to providing your PPW program online, because you're going to be able to, there's a lot of data for accountability. You'll be able to learn a lot in terms of whether to what extent students liked what they liked, what they didn't like, and how effective it could be, and how well your instructors are implementing it. And so it's a great experiment we're all going through. It's a great opportunity to test these things out, to see what works, see what doesn't work, and to sharpen them over time, and because we never know how much longer we're going to be needing to do this. And I really think this is to a certain extent, this is the future for us, at least short-term future, that we'll be doing more and more implementation, instruction, interaction, communication online. So So that's it. Just a lot of thank yous. Well, thank you guys for everything. God bless you for what you do. Again, keep up the good work. If there's anything we can do to help, let us know. Reach out for me. I will follow up, send you an email of the recorded link, a link to this recorded session, PDF of the slides, 1 hour CEU certificate. And if there's something else, just let me know. Happy to help any way I can. Thank you. Have a great afternoon, and please take care of yourselves and be safe. Make sure you're eating well, getting exercise, getting your sleep, practicing stress management. These are really challenging times. So do take care of yourself and your health, as well as staying safe as possible from the virus. Bye, everybody.